and I'm still running tech.
That's all. Thank you. A few things I took away from what Chima said. He talked about job shadowing in helping you build cross-functional experience, job shadowing, seeking mentorship, and it's important that you understand the business. Yes, we are in tech. We are here to support. It's not just about being technical. You should be able to tie that technicality to the business. You must be able to tie the technicality to the business. That way, you know the why behind the job you're currently handling, right? You know the why behind the job you're currently handling. We are out of time, and we still have about 4 or 5 questions to go, and maybe opportunities for people to ask questions. What do we do? Chima, we can let you go now if you really need to be away. Guys, can we do an extra, say 15, 20 minutes? Is that fine? Or we just end? There are just a few questions. Okay. So, okay, interesting. Okay, so for the next questions, please, in less than 1 minute, let's just answer so that we can take questions from the audience. Tony, you're a senior manager at your firm, and someone is asking, must you be a programmer to go far in cybersecurity? Anthony.
Okay, must you be a programmer?
Yes.
Go far in cybersecurity?
Yes.
Of course not. You don't.
Interesting.
I'm echoing, right?
You said?
My
You're not echoing. We could hear you. You said, yeah. Of course not.
Of course not. You don't have to be a programmer to go far in cybersecurity.
Interesting.
And again, when you try to choose a discipline, you need to really understand what it entails, right? And how well can you provide value in that particular function, in that particular area. So cybersecurity, yes, is a very broad discipline. However, there's some fundamental knowledge you need to acquire to be able to develop or grow in that particular space. And programming,
Program is not one of them. Or it's not a must.
It's not a must, right? But you just have to have that basic knowledge first in other disciplines, like even Chim has also mentioned, right? And you see yourself as that's climbing that, getting that basic understanding that you require to be a cybersecurity expert, right? But programming, to just be specific to that particular question, is not a must to be.
Shay, you want to take a stab at that as well? Is it a must programming, that I have programming knowledge before I can go far in cybersecurity? You heard the IT audit function in one of the biggest fintechs in Africa. Did you require programming skills to be where you are?
Shay? No, I don't. You don't have to. So it's not, it will aid. It's not a must. Let me just say it's not.
It's an added advantage, right? But it's not a must.
So, because I told you, just as I've said, there are so many. It's a very huge ocean, and if programming is necessary to have, if it's required, let me just say programming is required, even whatever project you are doing or at the bench, then you can even get someone as a team member to support in that likes. But it doesn't really, it's not a core requirement. But I've seen programmers do well in cybersecurity in my journey so far, but with just as small as Python. Let me tell you why programming is even funny. The person does not even know core Python programming. He just knows Python for security, because Python can be used for visualization and all that and all. So just Python for security. It could simplify testing, we were meant to test some security things, and it could simplify our approach by rewriting the script using Python program to get all we need to do and uploading it on a GitHub thing. So there are always other other reach you can explore to achieve whatever you want to achieve. And security is not strictly programming is just one bit. It's communication and network. There is asset management, there's architecture, risk management, and all that. So you don't really need programming. And if I'm going to go by Chima's way, for people that are climbing the ladder with the mindset of becoming a chief, they don't go too deep into the core of what other people that are outside security are doing, like the core programmers in operations and the likes. If you are going to be a marketer in security, you are even born to be a marketer. It's better to be strategic at the beginning. Just learn, know, and absorb all the basic things you don't have to just get to that stride, because eventually you will just be like a business person representing the cybersecurity side as a strategic person. So for me, programming is not really a core, but it's required in the bench, and you can always outsource it or get someone to do it if there is need, but it's not a necessity. Thank you.
Because of time, there are a few other questions some people have. Someone said, what is it about? What is IT audit about? What is required to be an IT auditor? What are the opportunities that exist for an IT auditor? More like saying, what's the future for IT audit professionals? And then the person is saying, what are the trends in IT audit? Let me attempt to answer that question because of time. And I'll say that, and I'll explain IT audit, which is basically a subset of internal audit, by saying the internal audit function is an independent, objective, assurance, and advisory function that is designed to add value and improve an organization's operations. Add value and improve an organization's operations, right? That is the core of internal audit, and IT audit is just a subset of it. And so it's like saying that IT audit is performing independent, objective, assurance, and advisory function to add value again to that organization through that IT route, right? So you're looking at infrastructure, and most people have shared, technology is wide. There is cloud. There is today we are talking about virtualization. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about machine learning. We're talking about robotics, right? So these are diverse areas. And so as an auditor, when you say what is required, you need knowledge, because you cannot audit what you don't understand. You will struggle. Right? There are different domains in IT: networking, databases, applications, and all sorts. And you see that during our monthly sessions, we've been trying to gradually take us through each of these domains as we are trying to build capacity. It's important that you're able to ask the right questions if you want to add value in that area. The other question someone asked was, what are the opportunities that exist for an IT auditor? Because you're now, if you look at all the domains that Sheyi shared earlier, there are tons of stuff. So you can build competencies in data science, you can build competencies in networking, you can build competencies in databases. In our climb here in Nigeria, we are practically jack of all trade, and we insist that we are master of all, right? I went for an interview one time, and during the interview, the guy was asking, was a telecoms company, and the guy was asking me, so which domain do you specialize in? And I was like, how do you mean, sir? He said, is it asset? Do you audit only access control, or are you a database person? Are you a networking person? Well, I said, oh, okay, I do all. And he was like, you do all? I said, yes, I do all. And he thought I must be joking. How do I do all? And I explained to him that in the institution I was working for, once they assign a task to you, God help you, you don't come back with value, you run into problems. But again, for our friends who are in Canada and the UK, the US, I'm sure they understand that their own auditing is divided into domains. So if you're a database person, you are strictly on databases. If you're an access control person, you're strictly on access control. If you're a networking auditor, you're strictly in networking. Now, you might say that our own style here in Nigeria makes the job a whole lot more tedious as against specializing in specific domains. But what it has done is that it has helped us diversify our knowledge base, right? We're not siloed tech people. We are forced to learn everything. And for some of us, and that's why some of us, when we transit to these international companies outside the country, we thrive, because there is no area they put us in that we're not able to succeed. So the opportunities in IT audit are enormous. You can transit into any of the C-suite roles, right? You can become a CIO, you can become a CTO, you can become a CDO, you can become a chief audit executive in a fintech, maybe not in a bank, right? Because maybe some clients will insist that you're a chartered accountant or stuff, right? But the roles are enormous. You can become an enterprise architect. I've been wanting to write an article on the many capacities of an IT auditor. Perhaps this will drive me into doing that immediately. And then speaking about trends, right, in the IT audit space, there's a lot that is happening. Chima talked about the importance of we tech folks having sound understanding of the business, understanding the strategy of the organization, because that is what gives you the why behind your job. Why am I in charge of access control? Until I understand the business strategy and how I fit in, coming to work will be a struggle. And so IT audits today, we are seeing an IT audit that is more business focused. We're seeing an IT audit or an IT audit function that is aligned to organization or business strategy. We are seeing an IT audit that is risk-based. We are seeing an IT audit that is agile. We are seeing an IT audit that is tilting much more towards advisory than assurance. We're seeing an IT audit that is capable of anticipating risks, providing recommendations to address them so before they crystallize, right? We're seeing an IT audit function that is a business partner. We're seeing an IT audit that is responsive to emerging threats. We're seeing an IT audit that understands the business and is not focused on just technicality. We're seeing an IT audit that relates its findings to the impact on organizational strategy. Like I said earlier, we're seeing an IT audit that has an understanding of the times. We're seeing an IT audit that can translate technical findings into business language that management understands. We're seeing an IT audit that is value-driven. We're seeing an IT audit that is involved in continuous auditing driven by data analytics. I like to think that I have managed to answer those questions. Ruke is on the call, and there's this question here from someone saying, is it possible to get international jobs from Nigeria? If yes, what do I need to do to position myself for such roles? I don't know, Ruke is actually transiting. It might be a struggle for him to speak, but Kunle, you currently work in the UK. Anthony, you work in Canada. Maybe Kunle, you go first, right? Is it possible to get jobs in Nigeria international jobs from Nigeria? If yes, what do we need to do? Someone is asking, what does he need to do to position himself for such roles, right?
I think I can talk. Hello.
Oh, Ruke.
Speaking.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. Is it morning or afternoon? Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, apologies. I should have joined earlier on, and I was struggling with my network. And just to be direct to the answer to that question, it is very, very possible to get a job right from Nigeria abroad, not just the UK. I am an example, right? I used to work in Deloitte, Nigeria. I even left Deloitte, Nigeria to the industry, and I got the opportunity to come to the UK via a work visa. So another thing again is you mustn't, what I've seen now, right? The UK and abroad, they need a lot of tech skills, right? And they have shortage of those tech skills in the UK. So they are looking outside of the UK to recruit people and sponsor their visas, right? So now I'll give an example. There's someone on LinkedIn. I never knew her from Adam. I've never met her before. So she just connected to me and said she wants me to coach her and mentor on how to get a job in the UK. Interestingly, she works in the bank. She has never worked in the Big Four before. And she's in, I think, digital banking or business banking or thereabout. And I was like, okay, it is possible. However, you need to update your LinkedIn profile, ensure it captures all your experience. And you also have to have at least one professional certification that is required for the job. You mustn't have 100% requirements in terms of what has been posted for the job description, at least have 70%. And you can explore LinkedIn. In fact, that's the powerful tool that majority of us who left Nigeria to the UK use. So there are a lot of opportunities on LinkedIn. It's just how to search, those opportunities, right? So there are jobs on LinkedIn that they need, that the visa sponsorship is available for. There are those that they don't, the options to sponsor visa is not available. So if you don't target the right job, you will be getting a lot of rejection. So I gave her that tips and she went on doing her thing. And in like 2 weeks, she got back to me and that she has gotten a call for an interview. I was like, fantastic. So from that moment, I started coaching her and guiding her on how to prepare for the interview, how to, respond to questions and all of that. And just yesterday now, she called me to tell me that they've called her to give her an offer, right? And she doesn't have a Big Four experience and she's coming to PwC London to join the digital banking transformation team. Wow. So this is just an example, right? She works in First Bank. Tony might be familiar with her, but I don't know. I think she has barely, 4 years or less than 4 years experience or thereabout in the banking industry. She has not even been fully chartered. She wrote, I think, her last 3 papers for ICANN, but she put there that she has passed, I think, some of ICANN papers, and she has the last diet to take. And even with that, they still considered her, So the opportunity is there. Aside even the Big Four, right? There are industries here in the UK or Canada or Australia also that also, offer open the opportunity for people from Nigeria especially to come into work. So how to identify them is basically maybe doing a research on Google, finding out all those industries, right? Or the Big Four that sponsors visa. And you go to LinkedIn, you target them, set an alert, right? When these guys put up opportunities, you will get alerted even while you are sleeping or while you are working, and you check it. There's an option that says visa sponsorship available. Once you see it is yes, it means that one, if you put in your application for it and you meet 70%, there's an opportunity for you to be called for an interview and to prove your competency and all of that. So in a nutshell, right now, as it stands, whether you work in the Big Four or you don't work in the Big Four, as long as you have the required experience and you have at least one professional certification that is required for that role, right? You have a chance. So finally, before I drop, before I got the opportunity, I had 15 rejections, right? I applied to EY, PwC, Deloitte, Even while in Nigeria, I was getting decline emails because I didn't know the tricks and the tips, and I was applying wrongly, right? So until I found out how to apply and I started targeting the right one, and I got called by Deloitte, I got called by PwC, and finally PwC came through. So the opportunity is there. It's very possible, whether you're in the industry or you're in the Big Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruke. Thank you, Ruke. Because of time, I would have wanted Kunle to speak, but let's take questions from the audience, right? What I hear Ruke saying is grit and stamina is required even while you're doing those applications, right? So we'll just take three questions from the audience. Whoever I see is hands up first will go. So I have Success. Two more. I have Abubakar and I have Habiba. Okay. So Success, please go ahead. Short question and I'll decide who answers. Success.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We can't hear you. Your voice is a bit low. Is quite low.
Can you hear me now?
We're struggling, really. Or do you want to sort out your speaker while another person speaks?
Okay.
Habiba, can you go ahead, please?
Yes, thank you. I'll just go straight to the point.
Please.
Thank you for putting this together. Yes, please. The truth is, I never stopped blaming myself for realizing too late. I was in my comfort zone for a very long time. Now, my question is this: do you think there is an age limit to learning these things? Do you think there is an age limit to you being relevant in this field? Am I making sense?
Sure.
Thank you.
A very interesting question. And thank you for that. There is no age limit, right? And the panelists are open to speak if I'm not speaking their mind. There's no age limit, right? There's an adage that now when you wake now in the morning, right? There's no age limit to learning these skills. It just takes tenacity, it takes grit, it takes persistence, right? Not wanting to give up. A lot and why I think your question is relevant is because I have friends who have given up because of age, right? There's someone I'm trying to coach on data science, and she's been struggling because she thinks she's old. She thinks these things are for the younger ones to do. That is a fat lie, a very fat lie. There is no age limit to what you can do. It's like saying that there's an age limit to learning, right? There's no age limit to learning. There's no age limit to building capacity. Abubakar, can you go next?
Tony, can I just practical experience in 10 seconds?
30 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds, Che. We're out of time. I need to wrap this up by 11:30.
I won't mention name. If a unicorn in Nigeria just changed their policy for all tech roles.
Correct.
And they said there is no age limit. So even if you are 70-year-old and you are the one that can do that development work, you have that skill, you are the auditor, employ the person, let the person come part-time there. So there's no age limit. And that is going to happen here in Nigeria soon. It's happening all over the world. But that age limit is because there's a shortage of skills. Thank you.
Correct. Thank you. Nuruddin, please go ahead.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Short, sharp.
Okay. Please, my own question is, how can I learn IT audit tools? Is there any site that you can recommend?
IT audit tools. How do you mean when you say IT audit tools? Because there are tons of them.
Okay.
For networking, we have NIPA. For databases, you just need to learn
that I can use to conduct IT audit. I went to an interview yesterday and it was asked, so I just got lost.
So again, what are you auditing? That will determine the tool that you require. Like I just mentioned now, for networking. For example,
I want to do network audit or database audit.
Yeah. So for network auditing, there is a tool called NIPA. There's also SolarWinds, right? That can help you do that auditing. Because again, it's not like saying that you cannot do it with your physical eyes, but the automated tools kind of fast track or your audit. But again, don't get fooled by the automated tool because there is a tendency for you to have false positives. So knowledge, that knowledge of how to audit that process manually helps you even when you're using the automated tools. For applications, you have Akunetics, you have what they call them, Qualys that helps you with scanning and stuff like that. So there are tons of tools. If you're on the WhatsApp, group, just drop me a message and we can take this conversation there.
Hello, Tony. Just to also buttress, I'll just also contribute to this point. We need to, that's as auditors, as information security professionals, we need to get familiar with the internet. The beauty about the internet is that there's no problem that you have that has not been solved by someone else and solved in a better, easier way. Talking about tools, there are tools, free tools available for every paid tools. There's a free version that is available on the internet. The main thing is that you just need to understand how to research. It might take a while, but you have to get familiar with the with how to search on the internet. For every audit that you want to carry out, someone else has carried out that audit. There's probably a report, a TOR, an audit checklist that is available on the internet. So that's just my 2 cents there.
Okay, thank you. So we have Abubakar, please go. No, is it Abubakar? Success, are you okay now? Can you speak?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please. You're loud and clear now.
Okay,
Short, sharp.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just go straight. It's more like a very relatable question to me. So for someone who just transitioned to IT audit, especially in a situation where the audit team that you're working with is very lean, which obviously means you have to be running through a lot of audits at once. It's not like the team is segmented. Maybe like this team handles networks, this team handles applications and TB and all of that. So, it poses like a very great challenge, you trying to adapt, because obviously you would have known the what to do, but then how to do it becomes a problem. And you're also struggling with them showing you what to do because of the level of work that is there. So how can one explore mentorship in this group as we have it? How can you quickly get connected on someone that could be helping you out on what you do, especially considering your situation?
Okay, so success, that's the reason we have the community, right? And if you're part of the community, you discover that people drop questions and they just get answers to the questions they ask. If there's a particular guy, I've forgotten his Chigozie, who on the group, anytime he's going to do an audit and he's struggling, he just drops a message and he gets feedback on what he needs to do. Temitope was trying to do an audit of APIs. She drops a message and she gets feedback on what she needs to do. So that's the reason for setting up the community, right? Perhaps until such a time where we'll have a paid service where we'll say, look, there are people who can handhold you through your engagement and train you in the course of doing it for a fee. But for now, that service, the community serves that purpose and it's free of charge, right? We've taken 3 people. Abubakar Olaide, are you sure your questions are short and sharp? We just have 2 minutes.
Yeah, my question is very short and very sharp.
Go ahead.
Yeah, straight to it now. So what advice do you have for, someone that has taken certifications and then needs a technical hands-on experience? Just to have a feel of, the certification gives you the how to do it.
Yes, but you need to know what to do, or the certification gives you the what to do. How to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where job shadowing comes into place. Chima mentioned the job shadowing, right? Find out from the team in your office, how are they doing it at the moment, right? Who are the experienced guys? Can I leverage mentorship to get this job done, right? That's one way. Abubakar, your question.
Yes, thank you, Tony. Like for example, my central bank here required for a chief cybersecurity.
I'm struggling to hear you, Abubakar.
You getting me?
Yes.
Okay, I said my central bank here in Sierra Leone is enforcing that all commercial banks have a chief cybersecurity officer, including audit and the rest of the others.
Okay.
But their benchmark they're setting is that someone to be that chief must have a master's degree. When it comes to auditing proper, the master's degree, the requirements, and the capacity is excellent.
Okay, did any of the panelists get that question? I didn't hear Abubakar clearly. So if any
Okay, so what Abubakar was talking about was that the Central Bank of Sierra Leone is requesting, as in that all banks have a CISO.
Okay.
And then part of the requirements for the CISO is to have a master's. Then he went on to talk about if you're carrying out an audit, which was where he dropped off.
Okay, so I don't get the question there.
I said, is it a must
to have a master's?
To have a master's degree to handle that role?
No, it's not a must. However, because if you need to practice as a CISO in that environment, Sierra Leone, like you said, right, then it means that you need to meet up with that regulatory requirement. For instance, in Nigeria here, one of the requirements education-wise is that you have either a CISSP, CISM, or CCISO. You need those, at least one of those three certifications to function as a CISO. Right, so it then means that can you function as a security expert without them? Perhaps yes, but the regulation insists that you get them, and so you need to align with that regulation if you want to practice within Sierra Leone. Perhaps if you're coming to Nigeria, that wouldn't be a requirement. All right, guys, I want to say a big thank you to all our panelists. We do not take your appearance here for granted. This is a 1 hour, 30-minute session. It was supposed to be for 1 hour, but we're already stretched. The recordings will be available for those of us on the WhatsApp group. And I'm sure if I can display the WhatsApp chat, if there's, well, I doubt that we have any external people here. All of us are on the WhatsApp group because we tried to just make this for folks within the WhatsApp group. All right, Kunle wanted to say something. Kunle.
I just need your permission to drop some information here. We're talking about UK, and there's a shortage list for those who easily qualify for Tier 2 work visa in UK. I need your permission to drop it. Also, I have a list of all the companies that handle sponsorship. Although all these things are online, I have them on my system. I need your permission to post them on the group chat.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. You can post them on the WhatsApp group. Please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you everyone for your time, and thank you for hanging on. If there are any other further conversations, we can always have them on the group chat. Let's all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Tony and team. Bye-bye.
Thank you. If I think you can stop the recording.